Okay, hello YouTube. How y'all doing today? We're gonna make some kiwi strawberry wine. Got two things of them. First, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some little bit of sugar in my measuring cup. Well, let's do this first, so it won't be wet. We're gonna put 4 cups of sugar in here. Well, we're gonna call 3.5. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put just a little bit of sugar, spoonful or 2 in our measuring cup. A lot of sugar in it. Sugar turns into alcohol. I'm gonna cut the cold or hot water on my. Make sure your jug's good and sterile. If you ain't got nothing to sterilize it with, take unscented bleach. Put a spoonful. I put 2 spoonfuls to a gallon. Shake it all around, wash it out real good. Wash it real good and rinse it and all that. Alright, we're going to put about 1/2 cup of water. We're going to mix it up real good. So it's all just about melting. I'm making a yeast starter for my yeast. And you just pour your yeast in there. This is Freshman's Active Dry Yeast. All natural. Comes in a 3-pack for like $1.50 at the grocery store. And we're going to stir this in here. Most people just let it sit there. I stir it in. Get it all activating even faster. Just keep stirring crap out of it until it dissolves. Want all that yeast in there. I leave my spoon in there because it's usually got a little bit on it. And I take something like this and I set over the top of it, keep all the particles and the yeast, these natural yeast in the air, from getting in there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take just a little bit of this juice and we're going to pour it in there, and we're going to set it on the eye on the stove for a little while, for just a minute. Get it a little warm so it'll melt that. Not real warm, not boiling or nothing, just get it warm. But if you ain't got this is a big old pickle jar, gallon pickle jar. I love pickles and peanut butter. Slice them in half, put peanut butter on them, delicious. But if you don't have a big jug like this or a carboy or something, you can just take this jug right here, pour about that much out of it, up to where the lettering stops there. Or I'd say pour it out to right there. Pour you a cup and a half of sugar in it. Get your yeast starter and get it going, and you know, like do 2 of them at a time. Do it the same way, and then fill about up to there. And then pour half of your yeast in this one and half of it in this one, and shake it up real good. A lot of people on the internet said don't shake it. I ain't never had no problem with it. You shake it first. You got to have air in it to aerate it. To make the yeast has to have air to work. The more air you got in it, the better the yeast will work. And you can put your top on there like so. Tighten it all the way down. Back off of it a half a turn to where you can move it like that. Let it set for 3 weeks, or 2.5. You can tell when it stops, because it'll quit bubbling. You'll see bubbles in there. Hold it into the light, and once it quits bubbling, it's done. Well, then what you'll do is you'll take and you'll pour the liquid out of it, and you'll see a layer of yeast. You'll see a layer of yeast on the bottom. Pour it till you get right to it, and don't try to get no more in it. Then when you're done that, you rinse it out, pour the yeast down the drain. That's good for your septic tank. It eats the toilet paper and all up, and keeps it healthy. And pour it back in your jug. Let it set another week. You'll have a little bitty layer of it on the bottom. Pour it out again, do the same thing, and you'll have your final product. Pretty potent stuff. About 12%, 13%. All depends on what kind of yeast you use. You can go on the internet and buy the yeast and all that, but shoot, I'm just, I'm showing you how to do it out of stuff out of the store. But I think this done got hot enough here. So what we're going to do is, we're going to pour this over into here without trying to make a mess like I just did. Always make a mess, I have to clean up. Okay, now we're going to put the top on it and shake the crap out of it. To dissolve that sugar. Keep letting the pressure off of it, because you know that steam in there. Alright, you can probably do it a little bit more than that if you want to, but I mean, it works for me. How we're going to we're going to pour this in there. Pour it real aggressive. All them bubbles, that's air. And we're going to do it again. I'm going to pour about that much from the top. And we're going to put the top back on it. Give it a shake again. Make sure it's good and mixed up. Get some more bubbles in there. Okay, what we're going to do now is I'm going to pour this pot out that I just had. Get raisins in the store. Regular old raisins. I'll open something in the store in a minute and look at it. So open up your box of raisins. Look at it. Make sure it ain't got that white coating on it. Because if they do, they won't work. Put you about a quarter cup of water in there. Put it on the stove. Take you about a handful of raisins. Put them in the pot with the boiling water. And what it acts is a yeast neutralizer. Yeast loves it. It makes a healthy yeast. Okay, while we're waiting on that yeast there, we're gonna let you check out this. See, you can tell the yeast has started working. The yeast has already started working. Got a nice foam head on it. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to pour our yeast in here. I like to make sure to get every bit of it. So I'm going to take a little bit more of the juice. We're going to swirl it around in there. We're going to pour it in there. Now we're going to shake her up. Make sure it gets good and shook up in there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let these raisins we're going to take a fork and we're going to keep mashing them as they're boiling. Just mash and mash away. You got to get all that juice out of them. Just keep on and on with your raisins until you're down to, you know, till it reduces way down. And you'll have just a real nice, a real dark raisin color. And the raisins will be all mashed up and got all them good juices out of there. This is going to take a few minutes, so you know how to do it. Put it on there and let it do all that. And then when you get through, just pour it in there. And shake it up some more. And like I say, let it sit for a couple of weeks, and you can tell when it stops working. You'll see the bubbles quit. It'll get the crows in the head and all that on it. And like I say, even on your pickle jar, just turn it where to be loose. Just turn it where to be loose. Tighten it all the way and barely turn it. That's all you need. If you leave it tight, it's going to have one hell of a mess because it's going to explode. So, thank you, YouTube. Cheers, and have a good night.